going? Yay. Not dead. I'm not dead. Channel not dead. For those who've asked. Explain why in a moment. There was some lack of updates for a little while. One of the things that, everyone has things that I think that, lessons that they need to learn that they never learn. My version of that is don't set like goals ahead of time for this particular part of my business, because I always end up not doing them, which is supposed to be the opposite of the way that works. But basically, every time I've said, okay, this is how it's going to happen on this schedule, it never works out. If you followed along, you know this. Basically, I said 2-3 weeks ago that I was going to do the, man, there's going to be a lot of edits in this. I said that I was going to do the Flashpoint episode, the preview of it, and then do the episode, and then move on to stuff without talking about any more of the stuff behind it, because I was sick of talking about it, and then it would come right away. Clearly, that didn't happen because of, the story just kept changing, and it was clear that I was going to have to talk about it again, and I got sick of following it, and the whole thing became very tiresome and really demoralizing to talk about and follow. And, in that episode, I mentioned the whole internet obsession with the Johnny Depp, Amber Heard bullshit, which became even worse of a thing to have focused and following, and just a whole part of this business that I just never wanted to be a part of. Around about the same time, if you follow my social media, you follow things that me and my brother Chris are involved in. There was a film shoot going on here that we're partially involved in. That became a busy thing. So good things, good business things to be involved in. That took time away. I had to help out. Other good family things that are family-related things that are, frankly, none of the internet and social media's business that had to come first. And also my other work with film theory and theorist media, because that's someone else hiring you. So, professional. But it just became very difficult to actually get this whole script thing. It got rewritten a bunch of times. It's still being written because it's still going, and it's coming out. And amidst all of that, you can probably hear in my voice, the summer allergies kicked back in. 2 years of people not being outside and around as much and whatnot. Summer colds and summer allergies. Oh, hey, wow, that's a thing again. And just as coming back in off of getting over one of a bout of that, as, the rain comes in, wash pollen away and whatnot, managed to finally break, quote unquote, my 2.5-year streak of being COVID-free. Yay. I'm fine. Everyone's fine. Thankfully, I have, multiple vaccinated, boosted, etc. So I'm not dying of it. Sucks, obviously. It's unpleasant. But, mostly I said, hey, I don't feel good. Tested for it. Well, son of a bitch. What do you know? Because I test pretty frequently for it because I'm safe about these things. Because it is still a thing, and I'm still aware of it. But like everyone else, trying to, ease back into the regular side of life. And, hey, these things happen. I'm pissed. I'm annoyed. But, life happens. Isolating, following doctor's orders, etc. I didn't want to over-record and tax the vocals any further. But, yeah, so that is part of the delay stuff here. But wanted to get this back in and get that updated. So Flashpoint episode's still coming. And in the midst of all this, I started thinking to myself, Bob, it's a shame that you didn't have any, older episodes to be re-uploaded or remasters that you could put in to get some more material on the channel so that you're not losing out on that ad revenue because you already uploaded all of those. And then happened to look at my upload catalog and realize, oh, actually, no, you never actually did hit send on a bunch of those remastered Game Overthinker episodes. You could have been making that revenue for a while, you dumbass. So those are going to be going up over the next couple of days. They should have been going up over the last couple of weeks when there was nothing, which I apologize for. I apologize to fans, followers, especially the patrons, because I have seen the Patreon numbers drop down, which is expected when there's no new content going up. Hopefully I will see those go back up because you will be seeing some remastered Game Over Thinker content, some good stuff too. And you'll see the Flashpoint episode come out, and then you'll see some new stuff come back in as we get into the just, purge out what I've been trying to purge out after all of this, because there has not been, there's been a lot that I've been waiting to say before I got all of this out, because I didn't want to just completely skip over what I promised. And yeah, this sounds like a ramble. I've been inside waiting for the persistent cough to go away, which it has, because thanks to vaccines and thanks to boosts and whatnot, this is no longer a thing that lasts weeks and weeks and weeks and then hospitalizes and possibly kills you, thankfully. Plus, I'd like to think I live fairly healthy. Fairly. But anyway, since, before I get this last part of the Flash thing out, I wanted to, because it's still going on. I was going to almost wait for Comic-Con. To see if Warner Brothers was going to announce anything. Now it looks like Warner Brothers isn't even showing up. They're not doing a DC booth at Comic-Con. They're not, I assume they're going to announce more DC stuff at Comic-Con. I have a feeling that the no DC booth there is kind of a feint. I expect that they're probably going to be announcing, like, this is what DC is now called within the company. There's probably a rebranding going on. There has been a bloodbath at Warner Brothers as the new guy in charge of that company, Zaslav, has been just cutting. So I assume that this is part of a big rebrand in the company, because I can't really imagine that they've got nothing to show. They've been at, like, Dark Crisis has been going on the comic side. They've been doing stuff. They screened Batgirl. Supposedly, the feedback on it is very positive. They screened The Flash, whatever they're going to call it, and supposedly the feedback on that was extremely positive. Unfortunately, the feedback on that being very positive has been sort of overwhelmed by all of the business with Ezra Miller. They had a big trailer for Black Adam, which looks very cool. I think that looks very cool. I think that looks really cool. We still unfortunately have to talk about, that's some reference. We have to talk about Ezra Miller. I'm not sure, but I may have misgendered Ezra Miller in the lead up parts of that. I'll try to edit it. If not, I apologize. Sorry. Now, so the problem that they have going for them with this Flash, whatever it's going to be called, is about threefold, really. Now, on the one hand, it seems like they're destined for bad news. And there's a thing called the sunk cost fallacy, which you've probably heard about, which is that you start thinking that because we've put so much into this, we've got to keep putting more into this so that it's worth it, which is almost never true. It's always better, usually, to cut your losses, cut bait, and start over when something's going wrong. Like we've gone this far, we might as well keep going, is almost never a good idea. If you have the option to return to base and regroup, it's almost always a good idea to do that. We might as well see it through is almost never a good idea. And that's the sunk cost fallacy. We've sunk this much cost in, we might as well. It feels like you should, because it feels like you've given up, but it usually is not true. Now, on the other hand, everyone buys into the sunk cost fallacy, so it's like religion. It's not true, but everyone believes in it, therefore it becomes true. This thing isn't real, but everyone around you believes in it, so it's like the Jedediah Springfield thing. The myth of it makes it real, and then you just kind of have to go along with it because it's easier, and if you don't, everyone's going to hang you. So that's the other end of the sunk cost fallacy, is that. And also, on practical terms, they probably have deals with actors and deals with, the various unions and people who've put things into making the movie, which basically say that they can't not release the movie, that they've, put work into it, that they have to release this. They've paid Michael Keaton money to be in this movie. They got to put up, they've paid all of these other actors. It also doesn't appear that Ezra Miller has been, charged with half of the things that they say that they've charged Ezra Miller with. And also, again, the reaction to the movie is apparently positive. Warner Brothers apparently has a Flash movie that they like. The reaction to it is positive. People see, again, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. I have not talked to anyone personally who I know or trust that has seen this film. But the word coming out of the test screenings on this is they've got it to a point where it's not like they're not saying it's a huge smash. They're not saying they've made Endgame, that they've made that they've got an Iron Man, but that they've got a releasable movie that they think people like, and that it's going to come through. So they've got that. They've got something that they think they can build off of. Especially, apparently, Sasha Calle, the young actress who's, am I pronouncing that correct? I don't know. If not, I'm sorry. I'm working from not a lot of notes here. But the young woman who's playing the new version of Supergirl, I believe they're calling her Kara Zor-El, but Supergirl, basically, apparently that she's very good. Then people really respond well to her. Batgirl, they clearly like well enough that she's already got her own whole movie. They're already moving ahead. They think they've got a sequel. So they've got that going for them. And a lot of times you do have to just release what you have. Even if it's not a sunk cost thing, you do have to put that out. That is the other side of a sunk cost fallacy. Because even if this thing isn't good and people don't like it, the point of it is a reboot picture. Like, the concept of this is that the movie comes out and they use it as an excuse to reboot the stuff that they're no longer using from the, frankly, failed set of movies that they made, and just to launch it and throw a bunch of stuff forward. And not just to say, okay, like, they're not doing this is the trailer for all the new Justice League stuff again. Supposedly, part of the gimmick of this is, again, not... I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But supposedly, it doesn't so much end off on a space of this is concretely forever the new DC universe, but this is what it looks like now. And also, there's a state of flux and it needs protecting, and things can change going forward. So basically, it's a crisis with the promise of more crises to come, so that they can go forward and say, yeah, things are all messed up right now. Because realistically, folks, you know this. You know that they're not going to end off on a movie whose premise is, hey, everything got all messed up and now Batman is old and there's a Batgirl and Superman is Supergirl now, and some of it happened and some of it didn't. They're not going to leave it off and then never have a Superman or a younger Batman again. Not when they've already got Robert Pattinson doing his thing in his movies. They've got apparently scripts out for doing another Superman movie. Zack Snyder is tweeting about Henry Cavill. You know they're going to do the regular versions again. They're just also trying to do their, chasing Marvel to do a universe thing. They're not going to finally get The Rock back into a movie playing a character who's as strong as Superman and not have him fight a Superman at some point after he eventually shows up in the Shazam. So come on, use your heads.
In this world, they're heroes, they're villains. Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
So, but the issue with this is you don't want it to not come out and then have the same kind of problem you had with the Snyder Cut, which is not so much a problem with the movie. I didn't think the movie was very good. I didn't think Justice League was good. I didn't think Batman v Superman was good. I didn't think that the Snyder Cut version of Zack Snyder's Justice League was good. I think it was all kind of garbage. I like Zack Snyder as a director. I think he turned out to be wrong for this project. I'm capable of holding those two ideas in my head at the same time. Radical concept, I realize. When you let these things sit unreleased and you jerk people around about it as to what these things are, there's that saying, movies aren't released, they escape. It's true. And if you don't let them escape, eventually the concept of what might have been and could have been turns into a whole other thing in people's minds with concept art and theories and people making their own fan art and spinning out. At this point, there's no version of the Snyderverse that's ever going to satisfy. Even if they did it, even if Zack Snyder came back, made the Zack Snyder Justice League, whatever things, no one is going to eventually be happy with it because they've created this whole other timeline of stuff in their heads out of like concept art, fan art, theories about Ray Fisher coming back. Why would Ray Fisher ever come back from the way he's been treated and the fact that the amount of support that he's gotten from people has mostly amounted to people liking tweets. But more material at the moment is that at this point, the Snyderverse is like alternate Star Wars stuff, or the old expanded universe, or hypothetical alternate cuts of like when Guillermo del Toro was going to do Lord of the Rings. Even if people went back in and did it, it's two completely different things because your creative vision changes as you go a certain number of years without doing it, even if you try to go back and then do it. People are never going to be satisfied with this. This is why Lucasfilm is consistently wrong in even trying to please Star Wars fans on either side of anything. People who like certain things, people who don't like certain things, they should really stop listening. You got to listen to the audience, but you never listen to fans. In fact, don't even listen to the audience. Pay attention to the audience and their reactions, but don't listen to fans because there's too many different kinds of fans and they never actually know what they want because they're always going to get mad and you're always going to disappoint them because it's never going to be as good as what they think they want in their head. I mean, I loved the finally getting, Assemble in Avengers Endgame. I guarantee you, it looks nothing like what I thought that would eventually look like, 18, 20 years ago when I was thinking, man, wouldn't it be awesome if they did a big, giant Marvel universe? It looks nothing like it, but it's awesome. So I don't know what Warner Brothers should do, bottom line, of this whole Ramble. I don't know if they should just release the movie and get it over with, throw it on to HBO Max. It really kind of comes down to what's actually going on with this problem with Ezra Miller. And the problem with that is we don't really know still what's going on. And when I say we don't know what's going on, I want to be very clear about this, and I want to parse it very carefully. Even if none of these things that are alleged to be going on with Ezra Miller, they still clearly need help, because even the you did nothing wrong, you're innocent version of all of this, getting close to any of this, like being adjacent to these kinds of goings on when you're a person with your whole life ahead of you as like a celebrity with a big lead in this kind of franchise with no reason to be getting wrapped up in this stuff is a sign of like, cry for help, please help me. Get help, Ezra. If you didn't do anything, get help. And if you did do something, stop and then get help. And if they did do something, whole other story, because a lot of these allegations are some really heavy stuff. But this is why I pause about that. And again, I'm parsing very carefully. Why are we not hearing more about this? Like, why? It's a big story. Why isn't it a bigger story? Why isn't it bigger than the guy who used to be Jack Sparrow in court with the lady from Aquaman? I want you to just think about this, because like, we got this whole situation in this country right now where the scumbags on Fox News and the MAGA trash and the Republicans and all these conservative right-wing assholes, Christopher Rufo, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, might as well throw Glenn Greenwald in there, all these fuckers are off on this whole thing of going after teachers, going after every LGBTQ, transgender celebrity person, Ron DeSantis, this jerk-off fuckface in Florida, going after Hollywood studios, Disney, teachers, whatever. And their whole thing is trying to paint the whole queer community basically with this thing, groomers, right? That's the whole thing. Groomers. They're grooming your kids. They're after your kids. If that's their whole attack. Like, that's what they're going into the next election with, is running this whole thing. Like, the Libs of TikTok lady, this crazy chick on Twitter, who basically posts where the drag queens are doing like story hours. When did that become like this big scary thing? Wasn't that the happy ending to Mrs. Doubtfire? Was Robin Williams in his old lady character was going to be on TV and be basically like the RuPaul Mr. Rogers? I mean, I haven't watched it in a while because the movie was already sad and then Robin died, so now it's like really sad. Wasn't that like the happy ending to that kids movie? was that Robin Williams dresses up like an old lady and goes on TV and reads like kids stuff isn't that how Miss Doubtfire ends? But anyway, so they've turned this into this whole thing where the transgenders are going to come groom your kids, and this is what they're going into the election for, because they can't run on shit else because they're fucking Republican scumbags, and all they've got is this made up transgenders are coming to groom your kids and kill Jesus bullshit. And you got this TikTok lady on Twitter. She posts on Twitter of wherever there's going to be like a pride event that's like a family pride event or whatnot, and then these fucking brown shirts show up and try to fucking beat people up. If that's your whole thing, if you're Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or one of these fucking assholes or their writing staff, and you see that this is the story, Ezra Miller, is that this is the news story that's going on, where is accused of someone, I'm not going to use their names. There's this young, apparently a friend of theirs that has been traveling with them, that when they were a teenager, their parents now say that have used the word grooming in association with their names for all of this. There's been a lot of, you can look it up. It's in the news. It's been there. The word grooming has been used in association with Ezra Miller's name. If you are Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, any of these assholes, or a person on their writing staff, and you see that cross your news wire, and this is every picture of Ezra Miller, how is this not your number one news story all the time? Like, if you're these guys, this is everything you asked for, right? This should be their number one thing that they're chasing all the time, is Ezra Miller, who, again, might be completely innocent, all this stuff, a person who charitably could be said to sometimes costume themselves to look like the nightmare supervillain version of what you've been railing about, is now accused of this in all of this business in the press. And we generally don't hear about it from these, like, they spend more time on the guy in Florida bitching about Disney World than they do about it. And what this says to me is that there has been checking into this, outreach, hey, call up Warner Brothers Publicity, find out if there's anything there, get a statement, and that there might not be a there. That's what that says to me. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But it seems to me that if there was a there, these guys who will make a mountain out of any molehill would have built an entire Appalachian range out of it. And they haven't. And that to me says there might not be a there. This might be something that Warner Brothers is looking at as, this is actually not a credible set of allegations, and this is something that we have figured out how to handle internally, and we will. Now, that doesn't make it right. This does seem like, to me, some stuff that at the very least, Ezra Miller, the actor, they should be chilling out about, and at the very least, they should not be continuing in this role. They should probably be seeking counseling. But yeah, so that's something I thought I should bring up in that, so that I don't have to bring it up in the eventual Flashpoint episode. But yeah, so that's something to consider there. If there was something going on here, wouldn't it be more of a story than it is? Just saying. Think about it. In any case, yeah, that's where I've been. That's what's been going on here. That video is Flashpoint incoming. Until then, you're going to see some more remastered uploads. I got some reviews coming in now that now my voice is back a little bit more. We'll see if this comes in before or after the Thor Love and Thunder review, but a few other things. But there will be some reviews coming in and whatnot. But yeah, that's where I've been. So please, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please, the best thing you can do, honestly, is to spread the Patreon around and get more people signed up, get people who may have fallen off back on. And thank you very much. We proceed on ahead into 2023 and beyond. Thank you very much. Yeah, this was a ramble. And yeah, wow. Okay.